I'm really just gonna be spilling all of my secrets today. I feel like it's about time that I do some thrift tips for you guys. As some of you may or may not know, I go thrifting a few times a week. So there's a few things I figured out while thrifting in order to find some of the best things. Now this is for any sort of thrifting, whether you're thrifting for yourself, for someone else, for style bundles, like whatever. This is kind of like an all-encompassing thrifting guide. Before we talk about what you do while you're actually thrifting, I want to talk about some things you can do before you're thrifting to better prepare yourself. And this is for more if you're doing a style guide for someone or if you're thrifting for you for a new season. It is to make a Pinterest board for what you want to be on the lookout for while you're out thrifting, and also just to kind of give you some structure so that you don't get thrift brain. I'm a victim of thrift brain. There are many times that I will buy things because I'm like, I have a vision for this, it's so cute, and then I get it home and I'm like, I'm never going to wear this. Why did I buy it? Creating these guides can really help you avoid that, but it also helps you figure out what your personal style is and see what things you're attracted to when you're online, because when you go out, you'll see a red sweater and be like, this red sweater is just like the one on my Pinterest board. And it'll kind of give you that visual for what you're looking for to create the outfit. Tip number 2 is to go thrifting during the week. This is obviously only if you can go thrifting during the week, if your job allows for it. But on the weekends, you have a lot more competition with everyone else that's thrifting, because obviously most people don't work on the weekends. But if you can go thrifting during the week, that's usually the best time in my opinion. Times, that doesn't really matter. If you can only go after work, that works as well. The thrift stores where I live, they're putting things out all day long, so it really doesn't matter what time you're going, whether you go at open or you go at 3 or you go at 5, they're putting things out all day long, so you really don't have to worry about it being picked over, and you don't have to worry about all the good stuff being taken because they're still putting things out on the floor. If we're really giving you guys away my secrets, I personally go thrifting on Tuesdays and Thursdays the most. For me, I just find that to be when there's less people around and I'm actually able to look at things without being shoulder to shoulder with people. And one of my biggest pet peeves is when I'm like looking through a clothing rack and someone comes shops right next to me. Obviously that's my own thing that I just need to like get over it. This is cold now. Now let's get into the thrifting tips of like while you're actually there. And we're gonna start with my favorite one. And that is to go through the racks as soon as they come out, like the new inventory that they roll out on those racks. Go through that. Don't get in workers' way, but at the same time, like go through those because they're not going to be picked through if they're brand new. It's going to be all their newest inventory. And that is where I have found some of the best finds. Carhartt jackets, 501 Levi's, a lot of vintage shirts, even designer. I found a Christian Dior lingerie piece on one of those racks. Definitely go through those racks if you can. Try to not like annoy the workers because I definitely annoy them sometimes. That's where all the good stuff is. So can you blame me? Tip number 5 is to not be afraid to ask workers for help. By this I mean if you see a piece that is supposed to be a set, a salt and pepper shaker, or what else would be a set? A top that very clearly should have a matching set to it, or even on the tag if it says like 1 out of 2 and you can't find the second piece. Ask the workers because there are times where the second piece is in the back but like being ready to be put out, and they can get those pieces out quicker for you, especially if you already have the matching piece to it. Just the biggest thing is just not to be afraid to ask the workers for help. So apparently my mics stopped working mid-video. Apologies for the different audios. My bad. Oh, this one was supposed to be for like before you go thrifting. Pay attention to sale days and be the first one in line. At Goodwills, they change them every week, or at least the Goodwills where I live, but I feel like most thrift stores do the same thing. It's every week. They're on like a rotating, the tag colors will change and then the old ones will be on sale. So just pay attention if you can, figure out what that cycle looks like and pay attention to the pieces that are going to be going on sale. And if you can, be first in line and go get your items on sale. There's a lot of things that I've surprisingly found on sale that I thought would have for sure sold regular price. Sometimes the thrift store is really steep with their prices, so if there's some pants that you like that are between like $15 and $20, usually those pants, unless they're like designer, are not going to sell until sale days, so just keep an eye out. Don't go hide things though, that's like not cool. Look in every section, even if it's not a section you find yourself needing something from. For example, if you're not a nurse and you don't need scrubs, you should still go through uniforms, because thrift stores have all kinds of things that go through their doors and they put them in all sorts of weird sections, even if they shouldn't go in those sections. I found a lot of military uniforms in the uniforms, or like racing jackets. Go through men's and women's, like everything. I try to only go thrifting if I genuinely have the time to look through everything, because if I am looking only at certain sections, I'm probably gonna miss out on something, and that sucks. Go thrifting when you have the time as well. Like, make sure you can go through everything. And if you can't, obviously only go through the sections where you're like wanting something from. But if you have the time, go through the extra sections. Also, sometimes people will put a go back pile in like random areas. Like, I found someone's go back pile in the kids section the other day, and it was all like Y2K vintage stuff, all like made in USA, and I was like, check the little boy section, and that's where it was. Use Google Lens. I use Google Lens a lot if there's a piece that I really like but it's kind of spendy, and I'm like, okay, is it actually worth this, or are the thrift stores just getting greedy? Usually they're just getting greedy. I do this a lot with the pants, because pants are really overpriced at thrift stores for some reason, and then when you go on Poshmark it'll be like $10. Also in the home decor section I use Google Lens a lot. It just helps you get some background on what those pieces are. Overall, just a very useful tool. If you are iffy on an item, grab it and make a game time decision at the end. Don't leave it on the rack and be like, I'm contemplating it, but I'll come back if I actually want it. Just grab the item, grab a cart, carry it around the store with you, and then at the end, if you're still not feeling it, then put it back. There's nothing worse than when you are iffy on an item and then you're like, you know what, I am gonna buy this, and you go back to the rack and it's gone. It is modern day heartbreak. Before you buy something to add to your wardrobe, think of 5 different ways you can style it with the items that you already own. And if you can't think of 5 different ways you would style it, you probably shouldn't buy it. This is really hard for me, especially with unique pieces, because I have a harder time visualizing the outfits that I would put together. It's really the best thing you can do for yourself, because if you buy a bunch of these pieces that you just like individually and they don't work well together, you're never going to achieve that dream wardrobe. And it's really, really hard to curate a wardrobe by just thrifting. These items aren't being advertised to you. You're really having to use your own visual and imagination to figure out how it's going to work within your wardrobe. So this is the best thing, just to make sure that you're not bringing home random pieces that won't work well together. If you can think of 5 different outfits, it's a good piece for you. Obviously, you don't have to do this every time. It's just a good way to not buy things that you don't need. I even often forget to do this, and I'll bring an item home and I'll try it on. I love the piece by itself. It looks so cute, but then I get excited and like try to put together an outfit with it, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why is nothing working with this? It's because I didn't think when I bought it. I was just so excited about the piece. I know I touched on going through every section, but this tip is to go through every piece of clothing. If you're in the women's sweaters, look through every sweater. I see a lot of people who are like, I'm so bad at thrifting, I just am not lucky, I can't figure out how you guys get so lucky, like talking to people online. The clothes are not going to jump out at you. You need to look through each of the pieces in order to actually find them. You are so less likely to actually find things while thrifting if you're just like here and there, like looking at one skirt, like pulling the skirt out because you saw the fabric poking out. I know that sucks because it's really time consuming, but it's also really important if you actually want to find good things while thrifting. And my final tip, and probably most important, this is also one that I forget all the time, but if you're going to be thrifting and going to multiple stores and be thrifting for hours, you need to bring food and water and fuel your body. You will literally shop until you drop. Like, you will pass out if you don't hydrate yourself and eat some food. The only reason I know that it's so important is because when I forget, I feel horrible. It makes me feel like I can't keep going. Like I need to just stop and go home, and that sucks. If you're feeling your body right, you won't be as tired and you won't feel like you just need to go home after 2 stores. You can hit all the rounds. That is all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I've been wanting to give you guys some thrift tips for a while. Also, this shirt is recently thrifted. I put this little pin on it like I talked about a few videos ago. If you enjoy thrifting videos, I do a lot more thrifting content on my TikTok. I do thrifting vlogs on here as well, but I do a lot of thrifting content on my TikTok. So go follow me there, go follow me on Instagram, and if you enjoyed, maybe I'll do another one of like an online shopping version next time. That's all I have. Okay, love you, bye.